Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Wednesday, July 23, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, second 13th Amendment consultation to be held. Attorney says 10 minors were caught in last SOE dragnet. ICJ says nations harmed by climate change could be entitled to reparations. And Belize and U.S. sign agreement for biometric data sharing. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
B-Box offers Benny's customers the opportunity to earn points on their purchases at any Benny's locations or its entities, such as Best Manufacturing, Benquip, Island Freight Forwarders, Benny's Contractor and Lumberyard, and B-Mart. To learn more, visit our website at www.bbox.bz. Remember, loyalty is always rewarding with B-Box. Brought to you by Benny's, quality and savings.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Oh man, one more scroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data so you can scroll till your fingers cramp. Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
Tired of of replacing light bulbs? LEDs are what you need. LEDs last up to 30,000 hours. That's 30 times longer than incandescent bulbs, and up to 8 times longer than compact fluorescents. So less changing and less trash. Planet Earth thanks you. And the LED experts at Brothers Habet and Habet will help you find the best LED solution with colors for every room and mood, starting as low as $6.95. You can even get LED strips for home, office, and industrial use. So say goodbye to fluorescent tubes forever. And because they use up to 90% less energy, you save money. Money you can spend on other things. So head to Brothers Habet or Habet today. You can also call, email, or Facebook us. Have a brilliant day.
Measles is a virus that is highly infectious and spreads through the air when an infected person coughs or sneezes. It often starts with a fever, cough, runny nose, and red, watery eyes, followed by a rash that spreads all over the body. Measles can cause serious complications. But here's the good news. Measles is preventable. The safest and most effective way to protect your child is through vaccination. The MMR vaccine is safe and available at your nearest health centers and clinics. Let's keep our families and communities safe. Get vaccinated. Stay protected. Brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness in partnership with PAHO and UNICEF.
Belize introduced its new electronic passport in 2022 through the launch of the Electronic Passport Issuance and Control System, EPICS. The e-passport includes an electronic chip that safeguards the holder's personal information and photograph. It also features a verification mechanism compatible with biometric systems such as smart gates at international borders. The passport's design reflects national pride, showcasing Belizean landmarks and symbols. It incorporates 26 modern security elements to prevent fraud and corruption. The introduction of the e-passport aims to enhance security, improve processing efficiency, and reduce application backlogs, benefiting Belizeans both domestically and abroad. The Ministry of Immigration, strengthening national sovereignty, security, and socio-economic development.
Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. A second public consultation on the controversial 13th Constitutional Amendment will be held on Wednesday, July 30. Like at the first, there will be a morning and afternoon session, which are set to begin at 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. respectively. All interested persons are encouraged to attend and register their comments or concerns. Written submissions are also still being accepted through to Monday, August 26. These should be addressed to the Clerk of the National Assembly with the subject line being Belize Constitution, 13th Amendment Bill 2025. The email is clerkna@bna.gov.bz. Today on XTV's WUB Morning Vibes, a simulcast on CREM FM, Defense Attorney Leslie Mendez shared that there were 10 minors who were caught up in the last state of emergency. The belief by some is that there has to be another way to rehabilitate minors who may be getting dragged into a life of gangs.
I do think that this is an emotional reaction. I think the 13th Amendment is very much not a rational reaction. I think this is an emotional reaction to the spike in crime and how little control perhaps law enforcement feels that it has when it comes to being able to manage crime right now. Again, I say that the reaction, this is not a response to that. This is not giving you what you need. This is what this does is theater. What this is able to give you is theater and perhaps have these communities bracing for the next one. At best, that's what it does. And when we say communities, we are imagining criminals. But these communities are not only made of criminals, right? So you also have criminals and not criminals bracing for the next SOE. To some extent, again, I see, and I was hearing during the consultations that they were saying that sometimes it definitely gives them breathing room. But the idea of the SOE and the dragnet, we all hear about it. That when it comes to the SOE, they just take men, and it's usually men. Last last SOE, there were 10 minors. 10 minors taken. And I'm saying to myself, maybe these minors, let's say, maybe they are flirting with gang activities. Is this the way that you disconnect them to that? Or is this the way that you even more entrench them in that?
It's a great point.
And so I think, like, yes, that is a real concern. That is a serious concern that must be taken into account. When this happens now, it is extraordinary, even more so, because persons that are detained under the SOE don't have access to bail and don't have access to habeas corpus. This is something that we have seen in all of the regulations. We are challenging it right now before the court, but this is something that we have seen. What that means is you don't have access to the court.
Mendes reiterated the point that our crime problem is an issue of resources and not a legislation.
I think that we are over-promising with what this is actually getting us. It is not addressing crime because it cannot address crime. It can only put a pause to a state of affairs, but it cannot address crime. There is nothing that you can do under an emergency that you cannot do in ordinary times in terms of addressing crime. We already have a Firearms Act that allows you to conduct warrantless searches of a person and of a home. We already have that. We already have a Misuse of Drugs Act that again allows you to search. I mean, why do you see so much stop and searches out in the road? Because police don't need a warrant. Like, there are already very much powerful tools that you have under the law, but I think we continue to assume that the law is the issue. When the law is not the issue. The issue is the resources that we have, I think. I think it's the resources that we have and the ways in which I think we are uncomfortable with fully accepting this, but we don't live in isolation. And police is not in isolation with criminal operations. And we don't have an indicum. And Jamaica has an indicum. So we are expanding police powers and the powers of security forces without doing anything to strengthen the accountability of police forces.
Notably, a consultation that had been organized by the Belize National Library Service and Information System for today at the Leo Bradley Library was abruptly canceled moments before it was to be held. The guest speaker was defense attorney Richard Dickey Bradley, but we know that he is on the opposing end of the debate. In a historic advisory opinion released today, the top court of the United Nations, the International Court of Justice, ICJ, declared that failure to take action to protect the planet from climate change may constitute a violation of international law and that impacted countries may be entitled to reparations. The ruling of the ICJ regarding government's responsibility to address climate change and the potential repercussions if they fail to do so was instantly applauded by advocates. The non-binding opinion was hailed as a turning point in international climate law. Court President Yuji Iwasawa said during the hearing, quote, "Failure of a state to take appropriate action to protect the climate system may constitute an internationally wrongful act, an existential problem of planetary proportions that imperils all forms of life and the very health of our planet," end quote. The court said a clean, healthy, and sustainable environment is a human right. The advisory opinion paves the way for other legal actions, including states returning to the ICJ to hold each other to account, as well as domestic lawsuits, along with legal instruments like investment agreements. All UN member states, including major greenhouse gas emitters like the United States and China, are parties to the court. The case was led by the Pacific Island nation of Vanuatu and was backed by more than 130 countries, including Belize, which presented oral arguments and submitted written statements. For years, small developing island states have called on a larger developed countries with large carbon footprints to assist with funding to remedy the effects of climate change. Most continue to pledge support but fail to follow through with donations, which remain insufficient. Back in November of last year, Climate Change Minister Honorable Orlando Habet told the media that the smaller states, including Belize, were exploring whether court action against these developed countries could be a possibility. Following the ICJ's statement, former UN Human Rights Chief Mary Robinson said in a statement, quote, "The ICJ's decision brings us closer to a world where governments can no longer turn a blind eye to their legal responsibility. It affirms a simple truth of climate justice. Those who did the least to fuel this crisis deserve protection, reparations, and a future," end quote. The United States and Russia, both of whom are major petroleum-producing states, are staunchly opposed to the court mandating emissions reductions. In news from the South, in the wake of the announcement that the ICJ has set November this year to hear the application from Guatemala to join the Belize versus Honduras case, Will Mejia reported Tuesday that a Guatemalan naval vessel was observed in Belizean waters in the Sapodilla Keys range. It was reportedly located not far from the Hunting Key forward operating base. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has indicated that the Belize Coast Guard responded and notified the captain that they were in Belizean waters and escorted the vessel out. During his trip to the United States this week, Foreign Minister Francis Fonseca met with Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. They signed a bilateral memorandum of cooperation in Washington, D.C. to enhance border security and public safety that will focus on the exchange of information. In particular, according to the U.S. Embassy in Belize, in a post on the social media platform X, the memorandum, quote, lays groundwork for a biometric data sharing partnership to help Belize develop new border management tools to combat illegal immigration and transnational criminal organizations, end quote. Biometric data refers to fingerprints, facial recognition, and iris scans. Fonseca also met with the U.S. Assistant Secretary for the Western Hemisphere, Daniel Watson, with whom he discussed trade, tariffs, and investment. With Congressman Brian Mast, the chair of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs, Fonseca discussed the Belize-Guatemala process, Haiti, the Millennium Challenge cooperation, other matters. After the break, country on alert as dengue cases rise in Belize City. Stay with us.
Electricity is evolving, and BEL is leading the way with smarter connections across Belize. Meet AMI, Advanced Metering Infrastructure. It's not just a meter, it's a smarter way to manage power. Smart meters record your energy use in real time and securely send the data to BEL. Key customer benefits include real-time insights into energy usage, improved home energy planning, integration of solar, battery, and EV technologies, and innovative customer service solutions. Get ready! AMI is coming soon to municipalities across Belize, including the Keys, to give you more control and reliability. BEL, bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale, professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
Appliances that just don't last? Appliances that just can't keep up? It's time for a change. GE Appliances delivers reliability, innovation, and performance you can trust. The decision is easy. Don't settle for less. Choose quality, choose reliability, choose GE.
Sea una persona ocupada o atrapada en el tráfico, o que tenga una circunstancia adversa o muy exigente, la tensión se acumula y lo estresa. El estrés ataca a todos en cualquier momento, a cualquier edad. El estrés es un asesino. Es mejor estar vivo que muerto, así que visite la farmacia de Freetown para obtener opciones.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué puedo hacer para usted hoy?
Estoy bien estresado.
Ok, tengo una pastilla que te va a ayudar, ¿ok? Que toma una de eso al día para 10 días y va a estar bien después, ¿eh?
Ok. Farmacia Freetown, carretera 28 Freetown, donde estás mejor vivo que muerto. Farmacia Freetown, teléfono 22 32 87 6.
Planning a trip to Belize? Here's how to complete your I Declare Arrival form in 5 easy steps. Step 1. Visit belizetravel.immigration.gov.bz. Step 2. Select the appropriate forms for arrivals. Choose Arriving to Belize. Step 3. Provide your origin trip details, including your departure airport and country of residence. Step 4. Carefully complete the immigration form. Add dependents if necessary. Declare baggage, currency, and merchandise, and confirm your entries are correct. Step 5. Download your completed form and take a screenshot of your QR code and reference ID to present to the immigration officer. Thank you for using Belize iTravel. Safe journey.
There have been reports that the Belize City area has been experiencing an increase in confirmed dengue cases. One popular private laboratory in the city has informed Creme News XTV that for a 2-day period this week, they recorded as many as 20 cases of dengue. Gabrielle Edwards, the vector supervisor at the Corozal Community Hospital, spoke about dengue not having a cure and how that complicates treatment. He explained what symptoms to look for.
And because dengue is a viral infection spread by the bite of an infected mosquito, it is easily spread because we have the mosquitoes available. And once you have an infected person who comes around with dengue, and these mosquitoes take blood meals from infected person, this is when the persons infect the populations of the mosquito. I mean, we have a large amount of the mosquitoes flying around infected, and this put the population at risk. It is important, though, that we look at closely at what the symptoms are. And the thing with dengue is that they have a lot of what we call alike symptoms. It mimics a lot of other infections as well. But there are some key symptoms that I think is very important that we talk about. So let's take it, one of the first symptoms of dengue is fever. Fever is always a symptom of dengue, along with body and bone pain. Most of the time when the patient comes in and they say they feel just broken up, already we are suspecting dengue. Deep pain behind the eyes as well, which we call retroorbital pain. This is a unique one because in other infections, people don't really have retroorbital pain, but they would have fever and body pain. But the retroorbital pain really stands out because it is one of these important symptoms. Also, the patient can have chills. They can feel weak. They can have mild diarrhea. They can also present rashes on their skin. And so we urge the public that if you have experienced or are experiencing these symptoms that I've just mentioned, it is so imperative, it is so important that you go to the health facility around you as quick as possible.
Roger Riverol, the Regional Health Manager for the North, explained that the Ministry of Health and Wellness does have an established preparedness plan for the rainy season where dengue cases tend to rise. Residents are asked to keep their yards clean and free of stagnant water.
We know that every year when the rainy season starts, we have a lot of mosquito and an outbreak could happen, no? For the Corozal district on a whole, we gathered together and we enforce the plan. We have been spraying out there, the ULV spraying. We are located at the Ministry of Health, gave us a new one. So in Corozal, we do have 2 machines available, and we are using both machines in our communities. Every day we have a schedule. So every 7 days we normally go back. Example, Ranchito. We will go back. If we go Tuesday, the following Tuesday we'll be back there. But we are also doing we do fogging. If any person in the community, if you want us to go fog your house, we go and do the fogging for you against the mosquito. And even schools, normally when we start the rainy season, we reach out to Ministry of Education. Also, I want to mention that we're trying to go to the media here in the Corozal district. Vector is out there recommending people to wear long sleeve if you're out there, especially in the early morning and in the dawn. Because this is the time where the mosquito will bite the most, right? If you notice, when we are doing the ULV, will be early morning, like 4 in the morning, till the sun have risen, so that we tackle the mosquitoes. And in the night, we start about 5 in the evening, up to like 7 p.m. No, after that, it doesn't have any more a lot of effect, no. But we are asking residents to please stop your yard because high grown lots is causing problem for us, no?
Riverol explained that while Corozal's dengue cases are relatively low, they have been asked to assist the efforts in Belize City to contain the spread of dengue.
For the Corozal district, up till the 29 week of that we are monitoring the dengue, we only have 20 cases up to now. We have 8 confirmed from lab and 12 clinical. No, we also engage with the community to do well. We go to the community to clean our communities, to do these campaigns for, so that we stop the breeding sites. No, it's important. We stop the breeding sites. If you have this need to be a community thing to stop the dengue outbreak. You need to come together with the community. So you can do cleanup campaigns. So we are doing that at the moment here in the Corozal district. Yesterday, we received an email from the ministry asking us for assistance, and we are sending today a pickup to assist the Belize district in doing the ULV. Starting tomorrow, we'll be out there 2 days, no? And we need to help each other because we are one country, no? Luckily, we have two machines here, and we will still continue here and doing our normal schedule with our one machine. When we have both, I operate both machines because the mosquito, honestly, I will be honest, we have a lot of mosquito these days.
In Belize, residents tend to have a fear of visiting doctors or may choose not to as a means to bypass what they believe will be high costs. Instead, many Belizeans choose to visit their neighborhood pharmacy seeking medication to alleviate their symptoms. Gabriel Edwards, Corozal's vector supervisor, explained that this practice is not encouraged. He said that this prevents the Ministry of Health and Wellness from being alert of dengue's presence in a community.
The thing is that many times people stay home and they believe that they can tolerate dengue. Unfortunately, some of them do. But the offset of that is that everybody don't tolerate dengue the same. So everyone's immune system is certainly not the same. And that poses a risk for our population because if you don't come in, there cannot be a response from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. We don't know about your case. But when you come in, you quickly trigger prompt reactions where we do interventions, we do case investigations, we do monitoring of the patients. The doctors and nurses here, they are willing to go beyond what they can do to ensure that we continue to save lives.
The vast majority of dengue infections are not deadly and many may not require hospitalization. However, there is a chance of 0.5 to 2 to 5%, that the infection could advance and become fatal. If a patient's infection has progressed to hemorrhagic dengue, it means they have begun to hemorrhage or bleed. The patient would need to be rushed to the nearest hospital. There are reports that there has been at least one case of this type of dengue in Belize City this week. Corozal's vector supervisor, Gabriel Edwards, shared what warning signs to look for.
If you're suspecting that you have dengue at home, try not to use ibuprofen. Try not to use aspirin. Stick to the Tylenol that is available in any little shops, all stores around the district and across the country. But why is this? Why is this so important for the public to know? This is so important because dengue, there are 4 types of dengue. And they can all go into a very advanced and severe stage. And the severe stages of dengue is hemorrhagic. It's when the patient starts to bleed, hemorrhage. And this is very dangerous. Ibuprofen and aspirins, they are natural blood thinners. And if you're suspecting you have dengue, then you don't want to be naturally thinning your blood because you're putting yourself at risk. The most common signs that a patient can see from the outward appearance is maybe a little bleeding through the eyes, bleeding through the nose, bleeding through the gums. Whenever you see this, you need to be very, very careful. It is no longer a time to hesitate or contemplate going to the hospital. This is telling you that your dengue may have already now been in a very severe stage. Dengue fever has 3 stages. It has the febrile stage, the critical stage, and the recovery stage. And whenever you see that you're hemorrhaging, you're in a critical stage, don't hesitate. Move as quickly as you can and go to the hospital. Another sign is look at your urine. If your urine is turning to a coke-like color, that is not normal. This hasn't been happening to you before. And you are also aware that you are infected with dengue. This is telling you that your dengue has now moved into a critical stage and you require the quick intervention of medical officers to address the situation.
Risk factors for severe dengue include a previous dengue infection and children under 12. In police news, a male minor from Benque Viejo del Carmen has accused a male teacher of giving him alcohol and raping him. According to reports, the two met at a store in Benke where the man pressured the minor to drink alcoholic beverages. The man then reportedly coaxed the minor back to his house where he allegedly forced him to engage in sexual acts and ultimately raped him. Due to injuries suffered, the minor disclosed to his mother what occurred. Reports to Creme News XTV are that the accused, who is a prominent individual out west, has been detained for questioning and is expected to be charged. After the break, local truckers no longer required to pay $30 axle tax. Stay tuned.
Oh man, one more scroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data so you can scroll till your fingers cramp. Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
Every moment matter with your credit card. More transactions, more chances to win cash back. You can be one of 4 monthly winners. Get a chance to win cash back with every purchase of $100 or more. For more information, visit www.atlabank.com. Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
The hurricane season is here. Are you prepared? Get the essentials you need to stay safe this hurricane season, such as plywood, tarp and rope, first aid kit, rubber boots, raincoats and rain ponchos, generator, portable radio and batteries, flashlight and kerosene lanterns. Weather the storm with these products and more from Benny's. Quality and savings.
The 3-day Belize Investment Summit of 2025 is set to kick off on September 3rd and continue through to September 5 at the Grand and Sunset Caribe Resort in San Pedro and Burgers Key. The theme this year is Bridging Markets, Building Resilience. The summit is intended to promote investment opportunities in the Jewel, foster partnerships, showcase success stories, promote dialogue on policy, and engage the diaspora. Lincoln Blake, the Director of the Investment Policy and Compliance Unit in the Office of the Prime Minister, today reported that since the first investment summit in 2021, there has been an upward trajectory in the foreign direct investment in Belize. He says the summit is one factor credited for this. He spoke about the multiplicity of opportunities that arise from these summits. Blake also shared that at one of these summits, they encouraged the entry of BPOs into other districts. CEO Narda Garcia in the office of the Prime Minister spoke about the global aim of the summit. The summit organizers say they have increased their meeting rooms as participants have grown from 300 to about 500. At its last cabinet meeting on July 15, approval was given for cargo trucks and trailers registered in Belize to be exempt from a $30 axle tax that had been introduced in February this year. For foreigners, that change in February was actually a reduction from $100, but for local truckers, it would be a new tax. Minister of Transportation, Honorable Dr. Louis Azabane, shared in a recent interview that local truckers complained about the tax and it is now being reversed.
Taken us some time to make a final decision on axle fees for cargo trucks and trailers that do commerce across our borders, namely the northern and western borders. There was SI that was actually given green light by the cabinet but earlier this year, that was really put on hold. With that SI, there was an amendment to the previous SI from $100 per axle for foreign trucks to $30 per axle, and from no dollars per axle for domestic trucks to $30 per axle. So the SI was looking at $30 across the board. Well, our domestic truckers made it very clear that they thought that was very unfair to them. So we consulted. We've had 3 meetings already with our truckers, and based on those discussions, we went back to amend the last SI so that it would now be $30 per axle for foreign trucks and $0 per axle for local trucks. So that's the main amendment that we're making to the previous SI.
The respective municipal authority keeps a register of vehicles assessed for the road service charge. The monies are paid into the respective city or town fund and are applied to the repairs and maintenance of public roads and streets within that jurisdiction. As it turns out, Zabana says foreign truckers were finding a workaround not to have to pay the tax. The Ministry of Transportation will now be required to keep a registry to track the national origin of the cargo trucks crossing the border points.
A part of the complexity that we had to maneuver through is that the funds that were being raised at the borders went to the municipalities at the borders. Okay, so Benke Town Council and Corozal Town Council. Now, we had a setting that started to occur over the past decade or so, in which foreign trucks, to avoid the $100 that they were paying, started to register as Belizean trucks so that they were not paying anything. And when that started to happen, in particular the Benke Town Council said, but wait, our revenues are falling dramatically. And then at the same time, the truckers told us, but this dual license plate system was being facilitated by these very councils, in particular the one in the West. So now what we had to do now is to try to find a way to identify which trucks are foreign and which trucks are local, so that the correct fee can be applied based on your true origin, whether you're truly from Guatemala or Mexico or wherever, or you're really from Belize. So those are things then that led to this registry that the Department of Transport, working of course with our stakeholders, would need to ensure that we have a clear system that can help us with identifying those two origins.
On Friday, there was the closing ceremony for the Queen Bee Selection and Breeding Workshop, which was held last week at the Orange Walk Agriculture Station. Following the ceremony, the Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Hossemai, shared how the government is looking to revive the bee industry in the country and explained how choosing a queen bee is important in producing a healthy colony, which would lead to a healthy industry.
Honey is only one product that bees produce. There are a number of products. You can do a number of things from these soaps. You can do creams, you can do lotions, you can do repellents. There's propolis, which is very, high in protein. And so we are looking at the value added, not only the honey. So the apicultores, so to speak, have to be trained. Today, they were trained in how to select a good queen bee. It's like in anything. You select a good bull for your cows or a good cow for your herd. and it's the same thing. And so that's what they learned today. So we have a number of beekeepers here today and technicians. This is the first phase. So the beekeepers will have another training and follow-up on how you are managing the queens and so on. So I think it is very good. Our honey is selling very well on the market. We have the Belize Marketing Development Corporation who does a lot of marketing. They have contracts with the beekeepers, which is wonderful, and they are doing very well. We reach a point, but this is a small country, 380,000 people. We reach a point where we saturate the market. But before we get there, we need to start preparing for the export market. Traceability, quality, management, and so on. So I think we're getting there slowly.
Placencia is one of Belize's coastal communities that is being greatly impacted by several challenges on the environmental front. On Thursday, for 2 hours, local and international partners working together under the Strong Coast Project will host an interactive event focusing on environmental change. Local stakeholders in the Strong Coast Project include the village councils of Placencia and St. Bite and the Southern Environmental Association. The project is led by the University of South Florida with Fragments of Hope and World Wildlife Fund as partners. It focuses on storm surges, beach erosion, coral reef, and mangrove loss and environmental degradation. It also promotes public and private investment in nature-based solutions. The event will feature the voices and scientific insights from local and foreign experts on how the community is navigating the complex realities of environmental change. Presenters will also include community fellows and youth leaders. There will also be video demonstrations of coral and mangrove restoration, the use of research tools like wave tanks, and sargassum upcycling. The community evening is set to begin at 7 p.m. at the Placencia basketball court. In political news, he ran in the last general elections on the Shine Barrow slate against Tracy Panton in the Albert division. Now, Jose Uk Espat has announced that he will relinquish his bid in the Albert division and will apply to run instead in the Freetown division. Espat announced on his Facebook page that his decision is out of respect for democracy and accepting the will of the people who chose to support Panton. He then wrote, quote, "Please note that by doing this, I am not conceding anything, nor am I giving up. I am not saying anything other than I want the best for the country and people, and in the best interest of unification process within the UDP. I will not continue to cause division by going to a convention with Miss Tracy," end quote. Espat also thanked Barrow for giving him the opportunity to run in the last elections and added that he continues to stand with him while remaining respectful to all others. And Tuesday night was the third night of competition in the U23 Central American Volleyball Championships at the Civic Center in Belize City. In the first game of the night, Guatemala took on Honduras, with Guatemala coming out on top by winning 2 out of 3 sets. In the second matchup, El Salvador faced off against Panama. Panama secured victory in 2 out of 3 sets as well. Although attendance was poorer than previous nights, anticipation continues to build as fans await the return of our home team, Belize. Tonight, Guatemala and Panama go head-to-head along with a much-anticipated clash between Belize and Honduras. The Belize Volleyball Association is also asking that fans wear blue at tonight's game and white tomorrow for Belize's last game. The U23 championships continue to showcase the rising volleyball talent in the region in the battle for the top spot. And with that, we've come to the end of our newscast. The repeat can be viewed on this station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of the news. And remember, you can always catch up with the day's top stories on our YouTube channel and Facebook page under XTV Belize. And you can watch the evening news live on our XTV BHNI app. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.